Hey, how's it going everybody? Back with another TF2 discussion on the Delman. More specifically the Loch-n-Load, and this is a controversial one because it's up to weapons like the Gunslinger and Beta vs Blaster, weapons that divide people on whether they should even be in the game or not. My loadout will be the Loch-n-Load with a charging charge, which really does accompany the Loch-n-Load well and make sure I can focus on it rather than use the sticky bombs. I think the hams are primary too because it's ham. I got a few good clips and hopefully you should enjoy it. I'll first talk about the changes this weapon has undergone since the dismissals update. Prior to the update, the weapon was notorious for one-shotting like classes if the damage spread went your way. A very large explosion AoE, you could pretty much destroy entire groups of enemies too, with just the 2 quick pills. So Val decided to tweak this weapon a little bit. He changed the 10% damage spread for the grenade launchers to 2%, so instead of being able to do 108 to 132 damage, it can only do 117 to 123, which may like seeing the weapons more consistent in its damage, but now it doesn't have the potential to one-shot like classes from full HP. The Scout in particular, as that's the Delman's counter. They also removed the minus 25% damage penalty you took to yourself if you got caught up in the explosion, and they buffed the clip size from 2 grenades to 3 in each clip, and to balance this they reduced the explosion radius to minus 25%. So from those new stats, it does appear that the Loch-n-Load has been improved. The damage spread changes just make it so it's more consistent in the damage it deals, and though it can't one-shot light classes 30% of the time, the average damage hasn't changed, and if you do hit a light class, you're leaving them a minimum of 8 health. Plus, the reduced damage you take to yourself and extra grenade in each clip is a fair price to pay for a smaller explosion. Now I've been using the Loch-n-Load a lot since it's been changed, and I found the change very well implemented. The whole reason behind the Loch-n-Load initially was to make Delman more of a threat on direct one-on-one situations. It's always been a class that can output huge amount of damage to a group of enemies, but has always struggled fighting enemies that catch him alone, such as the Scout, which easily counter him. They can stay out within melee range and substantially faster than him, so can outmaneuver his grenades and stickies. But with the Loch-n-Load, you're much more of a threat for any one-on-one fight. The faster projectile speed means it's much easier to land that grenade, and with a minimum of 117 damage, you're probably going to kill them. It'll be rare that a scout or a sniper will survive a hit from the Loch-n-Load, just because if they're taking as little as 2 to 8 damage before fighting you, they can be killed in one shot. Plus with the extra pill, it's a lot more forgiving if you miss. When it only had 2 grenades loaded in each clip, if you missed, you had to hit your next shot or you'd be caught vulnerable. And with no roll as a consolation, that made the weapon very risky to use. But this third shot really is crucial. It gives more room for error. So many times in this gameplay, I'll miss 2 shots and then kill them with my third. It makes you much more effective against heavies too. Before, you couldn't kill a heavy with 2 shots. You had to fire them both and then reload, allowing him time to run away or be healed. But now you can finish him without reloading, which is a huge benefit. And it's not just great for fighting light classes and heavies. With just 2 quick grenades, soldiers and Delman could be killed, and because they're not as fast as other classes, it's much easier to hit them. Pyros are rather predictable movement, and because grenades are quite difficult to air blast, it's great for killing them too. And if you have the charging charge on, it makes it even more difficult for soldiers, Delman and Pyros, as you have a huge amount of resistance to their attacks. So I've really gone about how much more effective this weapon has become for direct fights. But when it comes to fighting groups, which is the Delman's main role, it's not as effective as the stock grenade launcher, which balances the weapon out and stops it becoming too overpowered. You increase projectile speed and need to hit the enemy directly, and you can't arc grenades over walls or ricochet them off corners, and have to be in direct vision of the enemy as to make sure you hit them, putting you at risk. And the smaller clip size compared to the stock speaks for itself, but the reduced explosion radius on Loch-n-Load's grenades is by far the biggest problem when it comes to fighting groups. Because explosions are spherical in shape, having a 25% reduction in radius means having a 58% smaller explosion, which overshadows the 20% extra damage you get. I got some clips of me using the stock grenade launcher, and it shows how effective it is against groups. When I play demo, I'll mix my loadout between stock and Loch-n-Load, depending on the map or situation. Here on Gorge, I know there's going to be areas that will be rather congested, and I'll just put on the stock just so I can make the most of this. The explosion size really does matter in these situations. A good example is actually coming up. I get a heavy with a pill, and it explodes killing the soldier and medic from the splash damage. Now if I was using the Loch-n-Load, it probably wouldn't have been able to kill the medic or the soldier, and the additional damage wouldn't have affected the heavy. Anyway, I've gone over for a bit too long, and I didn't really intend to rant on, but I do feel it's important to analyse the changes this weapon has undergone, just because to decide whether a weapon is fair or balanced, you have to look at both the stats and how it translates into the game. Delman is one of my most played classes, and the grenade launchers, especially Loch-n-Load, is one of my favourite weapons, so it's something I wanted to talk about. My overall opinion, I do think it's a little bit too powerful. The stock's 100 damage is already so high, adding any more damage to a weapon was always going to be hard to justify. I like weapons that have some element to them where they affect the game in different ways, rather than just do more damage. Like weapons like the Degreaser or Girati, weapons that provide something different, allow you to play classes much more differently, and support a team role as well. And also give multi-class benefits, like the pyro being able to help out engineers by removing sappers. This fits well in the game because it is a team game after all, and it gives me satisfaction when I play a role that isn't just one-shotting classes and winning the game solely because we were able to do more damage. This isn't a hate on any weapons that do more damage. I love using the Loch-n-Load. I have got a strange specialised killstreak one after all. But I don't think Loch-n-Load is fully finished, and I get the feeling that Valve are not finished changing this weapon, and even the Demo-man as a whole. Personally, I'd just make it so that the fire rate is a bit slower, or maybe the reload would just take a little bit longer, just so the emphasis is more on aiming, and Demo-man would have to be a little more conservative with the shots. I'd love to hear what you guys think too, and it has many mixed opinions, and I'm sure I've left something out as well, so please leave a comment and I'll look forward to reading it. One last thing, against engineers, this weapon is just phenomenal. There's an NGO who keeps on placing mini sentries, and it's so great being able to just get them off the map quickly. I know stocking stickies can one-shot mini sentries too, but Loch-n-Load is so fast, I don't think he managed to get one sentry built before I take him down. This goes to level 3 sentries and nests as well. Even the reduced explosion size, he's still going to cause many problems. 2 shot in the sentry, probably killing the engineer in the explosion too. The Demo-man has always been able to take down engineers easily, but with the Loch-n-Load it really frees up that second slot. I mean, you don't have to rely on stickies, you can use a shield or even the sticky jumper. So gameplay wise, I'm doing pretty well. I really think I was going to get a godlike 20 kill streak, but I just fall short because of a soldier. Never got a 20 kill streak to Loch-n-Load, so I was a little disappointed, but 19 kills is still very good. Well, as always, thanks for watching, it does mean a lot. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, and I think next time I'm going to try and get a live commentary or something different. Well, I do hope you enjoyed and maybe learned something too. And like I said before, leave your opinion and what you think about it. I'd love to hear different opinions on this weapon, so yeah, take care guys.